Hey guys, so I'm excited to finally do the Q&A. I had to find some time to get it done, but I'm happy to be making this and answering your questions. We'll start off with the most important question of all. Do you like cheese? Yes, I like cheese. I really do. Thank you. How many Star Wars animations have you made? And I've made about 7. If you count the 100 subscriber special and the 2 remasters as their own videos, then yeah. And I've made all of these within the course of like a year and a half, going on 2 years now, somewhere around there. What will happen in episode 3 of the Sev series? I couldn't tell you that because I don't want to spoil anything, so you're gonna have to wait and see. But a lot of cool things are gonna happen. I'll just keep it like very vague. Fruit Skull Cinema asks, what inspired you to animate? Thank you, Fruit Skull. By the way, guys, shout out to Fruit Skull. He makes some really good Star Wars animations. He's working on a series of his own, I believe, and he definitely put a lot of time into it. So I highly recommend checking out his stuff. Thank you for the question. And what inspired me to animate? There was a lot of things. I've always liked making little videos on my camera, running around the house and stuff. And I also, obviously, grew up loving Star Wars. So I just thought it'd be the perfect combo to combine Star Wars with my interest in film. And I landed on the idea of making some animations and seeing how that process worked. And I found it pretty cool to make. In terms of why I made my first animations, it was partially due to 7Q Films videos. He makes some great Clone Wars source filmmaker videos, and I was looking at that and I was thinking, wow, I wish I could do this. I want to make some Star Wars animations of my own. 7Q Films did inspire my idea of using source filmmaker. I had tried in the past, but I never really stuck with it. And then also, Star Wars Theory's Vader Shards of the Past fan film got me really interested in making my own because I was seeing all the behind the scenes stuff that Star Wars Theory was vlogging and how the process looked really fun. And then obviously with all my love towards Republic Commando, I ended up moving towards Commando content. Why do you make your videos in Source Filmmaker and not in Unreal Engine? And that's a good question. Source Filmmaker, you don't really need to make your own custom models, assets. You don't need to make your own maps. A lot of the time, people on Unreal Engine or on Blender and stuff make their own custom maps and models. They have to sculpt the models and sculpt the way the map's gonna look and all that. It just saves me a lot of time to use the Garzmod workshop or the Source Filmmaker workshop and get pre-made models that are very well made and already established. The only downside is, yes, I don't get my own custom clones. I wish I could, and maybe I will one day have some custom clones. For any modelers out there, I'd love to have some custom clones if you'd like to work with me. And also the render times are much longer in Unreal Engine. I mean, it would take an eternity to render unless you got like a beast PC. And it's much more time consuming to make long videos on Unreal Engine. I mean, I don't think I'd be able to make a 15-minute video in 4 months with Unreal Engine. Unless I was super experienced and I had a really good PC and I spent months on end learning the program. Which frankly, at this point, I don't have too much time to do that. Maybe one day I will switch over to a better engine. But for this series, at least, I'm sticking with Source Filmmaker. Glad you asked that question. How did you make that Commander Cody Stormtrooper? I didn't make the Stormtrooper. It was a custom model that I got from Zatumas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but he did a great job making a really cool Cody model, and I thought it'd be perfect for the video. Joe Kosker asks, which is my favorite clone trooper? And this is a tough one because I like all the clones. I mean, they're all really cool. But if I had to give it to one, probably give it to Scorch, because I love his personality, his humor, and I don't know, I just think he's cool. In terms of like the other clones, I guess I could give my top 5. I'm not going to give it a particular order here, but we'll just say top 5, Scorch, Sev, Rex, Fives, and maybe Cody. Can you put 13th clone troopers in your animations? I believe I can put some 13th clone troopers. That'd be cool. I am always trying to diversify the clones, especially because it is a clone rebellion with a bunch of different legions coming together. So of course I gotta try to make them diverse and not just one battalion or something. My favorite Star Wars movie is definitely Revenge of the Sith. I grew up with the prequels, and Revenge of the Sith's my most watched Star Wars movie, if I were to bet. And I love the originals as well, but as a kid growing up watching Revenge of the Sith, it was just a very memorable movie for me. How long did it take you to make one animation video? So it depends. It depends on how long the video is, obviously, and it depends on how much experience I had. I would say on average, these videos take me 3 to 4 months to make. Any chance we're gonna get to see Death Troopers in Uprising? I would never rule anything out, but I'll just say probably not, because I believe Death Troopers come in later into the picture. This is only 5 years after Order 66. I don't know exactly when Death Troopers were formed, but I'm pretty sure they were around later in the Empire. But you never know. Maybe I could get some like proto Death Troopers. Like Crosshair kind of looked like a proto Death Trooper from Bad Batch. I don't know if he actually is. I just know that was a theory going on. Why did Sev imagine the bad troops as his squad? And how the heck did Sev find the Force in him when everything around him is dying? And finally, I truly like your vids and you're my inspiration because I'm only 12 and I like Star Wars. I want to do this. Well, thank you so much for the comment. Yeah, you should definitely give it a shot. Get into Source Filmmaker or get into whatever software you want, but Source Filmmaker is a great starting point for getting into animations. It does take a lot of patience and it takes a lot of time and commitment. See how it is and maybe you'll like it. So for your questions, why did Sev imagine the bad troops as his squad? So this is actually something I wanted to leave open-ended. You guys were coming up with some really cool ideas and different interpretations, and I just thought that was cool, just to hear all these different perspectives on the same event. Maybe one day I will reveal it, who knows? I think it's better off I just leave it as a mystery for now, but I appreciate the question nonetheless. Just a quick spoiler warning, if you haven't seen Vader the Insurgency, I'm going to be spoiling some major parts of it. And how the heck did Sev find the Force when everyone around him was dying? That is a big question. Basically, the big question of all that everyone's been asking me is, why does Sev have the Force? It's a complicated question because, on one hand, I don't want to spoil everything. On the other hand, I feel the need to definitely inform you guys of some stuff and not leave you fully hanging. So, there's two factors involved with that question. I can address the how he has the Force, but I can't address the why he has the Force. They have two separate answers, and the why aspect will be addressed later on in the series, so that I'll be holding off. So, Sev, in my story, was born with innate Force abilities that were dormant. Now, you might be wondering, how did Sev get these Force abilities? Why was he getting them, and not someone else? And he's a clone, too. Why is he getting it as a clone? When Sev sees Scorch and Fixer killed, along with Boss dying right in front of him, it triggers his Force to unleash, so to speak. So what I mean by that is, in that exact moment of just pure anger and hatred, pissed him off so much that something triggered inside of him, and that was the Force. No one really mentions how many Jedi, like including Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, and Palpatine, I know he's not a Jedi, but Palpatine himself, their parents were not Force sensitive, or at least not Force sensitive enough for the Jedi to detect it, because had they been Force sensitive, odds are they would have been taken to the Jedi Temple as kids and trained. This proves to me that you don't need to come from a family of Force sensitives to have the Force. You can just have it and be this one fluke individual that just gets it. Sure, metachlorians explain your power level, but it doesn't explain why you had more metachlorians than others. Back to Sev here. Sev's unique characteristics, his qualities, such as his psychotic and rage-filled nature, assisted in the activation of his Force powers. What I'm trying to say is Sev has a particularly dark, sadistic personality. These qualities just amplified his ability to unlock his potential. Because back to what I said before, Sev's pure rage and anger caused him to have this Force ability awakened. Just like when Starkiller in the Force Unleashed trailers is incinerating all these stormtroopers after being so angry. Like, he couldn't have done that if he was calm. Or when people use lightning, they're not doing it when they're happy, they're doing it through anger. And I'm not saying that a Force push equals dark side, but the dark side that he was using at that moment is what brought out his dormant powers. As I've already said before, what I just said right now only explains how Sev is Force sensitive, based on what you've already seen in the Vader the Insurgency video. The why aspect of why Sev is Force sensitive is a lot different than the how that I will address in future episodes. And the State Trooper Roblox asked, was Sev being Force sensitive a part of the plan? And yes, it pretty much was. So when I first started making it, it was just going to be Delta versus Vader. But that was very early into development. Once I actually started animating it, I quickly came to the idea that I could do this cool twist and make Sev Force sensitive that no one would see coming. So yeah, that's pretty much been part of the plan. And then from then on, I wrote the scripts based around that idea that Sev is Force sensitive. While it wasn't literally the initial conception of the story, it very quickly became the focus point. Any plans for episode 3 of Sev? Yeah, I'm on the early stages of episode 3 of Sev because I have a secret project that I'm working on for you guys. Alright, and then we got Alpha Stories and Tales asking a lot of questions here. Shout out to him, he's helping me out with some clone stuff for the Meet the Characters video, so stay tuned for that, guys. Will there be more Rebel Clone Trooper characters or clone variants, either fan-made, Legends, or canon? Yeah, there will be fan-made ones, there will be Legends and canon. I want to really include them all. What Legion or unit was both Blanks and Karn in? That actually is something I'm saving for Meet the Characters, so I'm not going to answer that one. But you'll see it in Meet the Characters. Did some clones shave their hair? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they did. I will have clones with different hairstyles and facial hair or no facial hair. I'll try my best to do that. Can I call the clone on your profile picture ARC Trooper Andrew because he resembles an ARC Trooper with a Phase 1 helmet? And yeah, that trooper on my profile picture, and you might see him in some of my thumbnails as well, is basically supposed to be me in the Star Wars universe. Anyways, that was what the intention was. So when I do some more comedy animations, it's basically just to mess around. It's nothing too serious. What was one of the clones passing Sev on his way to meet Karn? Was it Boost from the 104th Wolfpack Battalion? Yeah, it was Boost. That's his model, and I gave him a little quick cameo that most people probably didn't notice, so props to you for catching that. As you've probably seen, I've done cameos of other clones. If you didn't know, Invader the Insurgency, Commander Apo, and Dogma make a quick appearance on the Star Destroyer in the beginning of the video. But yeah, there will be some more appearances like that. Alright, and that wraps up this Q&A video. I may be doing a live stream sometime, I'm not sure when yet, and probably just be playing some Battlefront 2, maybe modded a little bit, and it's just going to be a chill stream, but you can feel free to come on and ask any other questions you have, or just hang out. Alright guys, well, I will keep you updated on that, and have a good day.